Thank you for listening to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers for dog trainers, or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend. So that's interesting. So your motivation is protection. Would you say belonging? Is that something?
Oh, certainly. Oh,
no,
absolutely.
Sorry. That was for Samantha.
Oh, sorry.
Like for your, I'm pointing at you, like you can see that I'm pointing at you. Stupid Zoom. But like, yeah, it's like you help give those dogs belonging in a way, and
yeah, I mean,
I don't know what the word.
I don't know if this is like a passion, but just helping people's lives be easier because like life is hard, or like then they can go make the world a better place because they're not so stressed out about their dog, like I do feel like we all have our niche, and I'm very grateful for the prison program I do for like all this, but it's like it gives, like we all obviously we wouldn't do this if we didn't. The relationship with dog is like so amazing. And if it's shitty, that feels like we've all had hard dogs. It's hard.
Right.
It's exhausting. It's draining. And if we can make someone's life easier and have them have this like beautiful relationship with the dog, it's like the best feeling ever.
Right.
Yeah. I fucking love it.
Yeah. I mean, you're reminding me of this dog, this client. I don't know if you ever met this dog, Jack. Oh, you did meet Jack. He was he was in Malibu with it. Yeah. He was at McKenna and I's first date. I took him with me. I'm a huge nerd. So when I lived in LA, I took my girlfriend on a first date to the observatory because I love that place.
Nice.
And Jack, the reason why you reminded me of because you're talking about, the reactivity with kids, and he was really nervous around kids too. And I remember the day he was one of those clients, like I'm sure we've all had those clients where he's just such a regular, and you and the owner just get along so well that like, if I'm going on a trip out of town to visit family, I just take him. My sisters, everybody knew him. The kids all knew him. And one day I remember he's walking around the living room. Like I trusted him that much. I would just like, the kids wouldn't interact with him just anyway.
Yeah.
And one day he walks up to my nephew Deacon, who's sitting like, kids are funny. Like the couch is right there. And he's sitting on the floor, backed up against the foot of the couch, playing his Xbox. And Jack walks up to him and gives him one tongue on his forehead like that. And then just walks away. It was just a little, and then walks away. And then, and then my nephew, I'm a junior. So they were like, Jeer, he just licked me. I was like, oh shit, he did, And so it's fun to see him now. Like next time I see my family, if I have him, they see him and they're like, oh, you have Jack. And he's like, and I'm like, I'm like, look at you, man. You're going all over the place. When I met him, he was scared of everything. And now he goes from Phoenix to here to there, camping and all that stuff. And his life just got bigger. And it is fun to have that sort of feeling.
Kids are also naturally good with animals and dogs. I think that we truly, I'm a huge person on like my gut, and the few times
I was going to talk about that because your gut feelings have been fucking rock solid.
Right.
Yeah, the few times in my life I haven't listened to them, it's not been good, and so but I think kids naturally listen to their gut, and they naturally can like communicate with animals the way that we're communicating with them, but we kind of train them out of it. And I feel like the reason why we train them out is because when a kid says something that they're uncomfortable with or whatever, we'll be like, oh no, it's good. It's fine. Like, I feel like this is an overdrawn example, but example of like giving a hug, go give so-and-so a hug, but they don't feel comfortable.
And they don't want to.
Yeah, so they learn to no longer listen to what their body's telling them, but to do what's polite or what they think that they should do, right? And then
it's like turning off instinct almost.
Exactly, turning off instinct, because I feel like we're born with it. And then the other, because I see in Olivia all the time, and the other thing is I hear parents all the time, look at that doggy, do you want to go pet the doggy? At such a young age. They're training the kids to go
get bit, to go get
excited. Yeah, to go get excited and see it. So with Olivia, it's cool because she's used to so many dogs. She wants a cat so bad, or she wants a mouse. Like she wants a rodent or a cat. And
she'd get her a rodent and a cat and do Tom and Jerry in the house. And then
a few weeks ago she was like, I'm done with this dog stuff. I want a mouse. Like word for word, like I'm done with this. But because there's so many dogs and she's grown up with them, she doesn't need to like go up and pet a dog she sees, it's just, oh, there's another dog, cool, whatever. So when I bring dogs in, she's not overwhelming them, which is super helpful for the dogs that are scared. And with Bodhi, the cool thing was I knew, like I said, he's a big German Shepherd. So I wasn't gonna, I mean, he's like a medium-sized German Shepherd, but I wasn't gonna take, my gut knew it was like loud. It was reactive. I mean, he was loud and barking and lunging, but my gut knew, I just had a feeling with kids, when the leash was dropped, he wasn't gonna like actually run and bite.
Right.
Like, and I was taking him out to go pee, and I'm all about, well, let's throw a muzzle on him and see what their intent is. Like, I'll
let's experiment. Yeah.
Like, let's see what's up, So, and I joked with that with the owners. I'm like, well, I'll bring him in, I'll put a muzzle on him, and I'll see what he's really about, Olivia or whatever. But I was taking him out to go work him. I wasn't ready to quite do that yet. And Olivia was around, and I was like, oh, give me space. I'm taking this dog out. Like, give me space. And she started coming up to it, and I kind of got a little frazzled. And I was like, Olivia, give me space. This dog will bite you. And she like literally slowed down and kind of like looked at the dog, and she goes, he's okay. And she just like came up and pet him, and Bodhi was cool. Like, and it was just this moment of like, I didn't trust what you were reading, like, because you're a kid and I had this idea of the dog. I actually wasn't paying attention to exactly who he is in this moment, because I was fearful for my kid.
Right.
And I wasn't like trusting that you know how to do shit, like that you can handle yourself, and it was this cool, like, okay, that was good, short and sweet, let's keep moving.
Yeah.
Right.
But she totally read it. Like she knew that he felt good. Like it's a cool little thing how kids.
Well, and that's such a valuable thing. I mean, to just teach a kid, what I mean? Let alone like we're so stuck in our industry trying to teach adults to do the same thing.
Right.
So like the fact that your kid's going to grow up with that innate skill is beautiful. It's freaking beautiful. Yeah. I wanted to ask one more question that we ask a lot of our clients. Or not clients. I keep saying fucking clients. A lot of our special guests. All right. So we talk about dog training as an art form, right? Yeah. And everyone's a different artist. Tom Davis, he talked about, like imagine like we're all chefs, like, well, we're all different restaurants. Like you're going to get a different meal from me, different meal, but this all should be delicious, right? It should be all good, right? So dog training as art is this theme, right? And, kind of we're in a little bit of a dog training enlightenment period, a little renaissance where we are throwing ideas back and forth with one another. And ultimately, we're hopefully this next generation, our generation of dog trainer is sharing knowledge, working together, getting to understand one another, getting to pull ideas from each other so that way, ultimately we can create a better dog training industry. Right.
Yeah.
So there's this concept that dog training is art, and there's been so many answers through all of our special guests. But if you were to take a look at yourself as an artist, like it doesn't matter how deep you want to get into the metaphor, but is there a tool in your artistry toolbox that you feel allows you to be as effective as you are, and maybe something that you've learned through the past, or that you feel is a principle, an idea, could be a tool, could be whatever it is that you feel helps you be the best dog trainer that you can be?
Oh, geez.
I know it's a hard one.
That is a hard one. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's trusting my gut, like trusting what I feel, like not worrying about what the timeline pressure or whatever, but like just trusting that this is what the dog needs in the moment. I don't know if that's like an artist.
That's because think of it like this, like artists are compelled to put this there. And why did the Mona Lisa look this way versus that way? Because they were compelled to do it. There was a feeling that they had to manifest and execute on. So I think it's a beautiful answer.
No, I think that's an excellent answer. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just, having confidence in yourself, and maybe not taking on things until, for like other trainers, until you're ready for it. Because I work really hard for the dogs. I know I'm giving them the time. And because I know that, then on Friday when it's their go home, I'm not anxious about it. I'm not stressed out about it, because I know I've done what the dog needs in this amount of days, reminding myself that I can't completely change their behavior of what they've been practicing for 3 years. And I think a big part of it is like, when I can think of little gut wrenching moments throughout my years of like a training session that like I still will think about, that wasn't the best move. I did it to impress the client. I did it to show, I'm a good trainer, instead of like, knowing I am a good trainer. I know what this dog needs, and I'm going to take as slow as the dog, on my terms, but on the dog's time. Right. And so it's like, anytime that I've had a hiccup or something that has given me anxiety, because if I make a mistake, I'm thinking about it for days. Like and I won't ever make that mistake again. Like that's kind of my personality. It hits me hard when I feel like I've disappointed someone and, or let down a dog or whatever it is. But like, I've always made those mistakes when I haven't trusted, when I felt like I had something to prove is when those mistakes happen, rather than like just trusting in my skill and myself and what I can provide.
Right. I heard this definition of the word intuition that I'm going to butcher this, but I'm trying to, maybe you guys know about it and maybe you guys can correct me, but it was saying something about like intuition is like when your body and heart, or when your instinct and heart like come up with an answer before your brain had the time to put it into words or something like that.
I think it's something like intuition is when like your heart, and it's like when your heart comes up with an answer before your brain has time to like fuck it up.
That's interesting. But there's something there about like your body is the supercomputer, your mind is the supercomputer, and you have this ability to take in all this information and be like, now, boom. And that's what we can call instinct, right? We can call that animals have an instinct. We have an instinct. It's almost autonomic in a way. And I think, that gut feeling that you talk about, I've totally been in situations, almost kind of like when you're trying to make a left turn, like in an intersection, you're like, damn, I could have gone. Fuck, why didn't I go? And there are those windows that open that, even recently, like maybe because I was tired or I was overworked, that I've been like, I should have, but I didn't. I should have done, no. Or you shouldn't do that at that time, right? And I think having that gut feeling, and I've been totally on the other end of that, where you didn't listen to that gut feeling and it backfires or sets you back with the dog or sets you back with the client. And I think how do you go about, I guess, navigating that gut feeling? Because I think it's always interesting to don't confuse having a gut feeling or intuition with being impulsive.
Right, like a fleeting impulse. I need to buy that car right now.
But there is, and I would say, and I don't want to speak for you, but there is a certain level of confidence that you have within your own abilities that allows you to not necessarily bite off more than you can chew, but you have definitely done calculations in your head, however they're done, where you go, I could probably handle that. Yep, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's not that you're impulsive and unprecautious, is that you've done calculations based on your own skill set and your own abilities that you're able to do. And correct me if I'm wrong. So I guess how would a person who maybe doesn't trust their gut instinct or understand, that feeling that you're feeling, that little itch where you're just like, I should do it. Like, how does one learn to respect that?
Well, I am not a guru in this. I don't know, but things that I have seen of like how to start trusting yourself more, right? Is like to keep, okay, I'm not going to look at my phone after 9 p.m. Keep those habits that you promise you're going to do. Like be true with your word and keep those habits, because that helps you actually like start being able to trust yourself.
Right.
So I don't know. It is so instinctual to me. Like I can literally think of moments of like gut things and I do just do it. But I'm also, I am thankful that Lily came into my life to like enter this dog world. Cause again, I thought I didn't grow up with dog training. Like my parents are dog savvy, and the only training I did with Blue was therapy dog stuff. I had no idea how many of us there were. I had no many idea there were. I thought it was Caesar and that was it. So like without her, I would not have entered this like world, because Blue was so perfect. I didn't really need anyone's guidance, honestly. Like, and so I'm so grateful Lily came in, because I do feel like this all comes a bit naturally to me. And so it's easy to trust. It's easy to like trust yourself when you feel like it comes natural, but it's also like, just try it. Like, it's like what you were saying when people get stuck earlier, like, and I tell my clients all the time, like they don't want to do anything wrong, so they do nothing. And it's like, well, the dog is already acting like shit. So why don't you just try something and see if it works? And if it doesn't work, well, you didn't ruin it. The dog was already acting. The dog was already lunging.
Forgive me then if I put this into words, because I don't want to speak for you either. I'm just going to speak to how based on our interaction, how I see you, which is a reflection of how I see probably everything, right? And I think in this particular like question, what I like a lot about you is this piece of you reminds me of what at least what I like to think how I am too, in the sense of, when Brent was talking about like biting off more than you can chew, I think what I like about people is people who bite off more than they can chew. It's not good to be reckless, but you learn how to chew a lot.
Yeah.
So
you have a big mouth.
But I think that that's a lost skill set today. I think
True.
I think that it's important to dive into things, because that, like you were saying, that's how you learn to trust yourself and holding yourself accountable. Like, as I was thinking through what I would say, you were like hitting all the different,
but you rise to the occasion, whatever you bite off, you right off to the,
that's my point. And every time you do it, you prove to yourself, like, you know what, even if I don't have the answers, and maybe that doesn't even, because two things can be true at once. Maybe it's possible that I figured it out, still wasn't smart to have done it, but I figured it out. Right. And I will always respect that in a person. And I think that it's important to be like, it teaches you how to be creative, and it teaches you how to be quick on your feet, and it teaches you how to have that fire under your ass, even if you're the only one who puts it there, because a lot of people need someone to motivate them, and I like that, the kind of thing, it's like, if you bite off more than you can chew, fucking chew. Like, that's the secret to eating an elephant, right? Is one bite at a time.
Yeah. I remember the first time I did a day train with a dog, I was doing a private session with the owner, and I just thought, oh, if I could have this dog for a full day, I don't know, and I go, oh, well, I offer day trains and they cost this much. And what I normally do, I had never done one before, but to this client, I'd done it a million times, I remember my first board and train. Well, normally with board and trains, I'd never done one before.
Right.
You got to figure it out.
No one wants, you got it. But I was confident that I'd figure it out.
Right. Well, and I think there's again, that is a calculation, because yourself, right? And I think maybe that does take a little bit of self-awareness, and it does take a little bit of knowing what you're physically capable of doing, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, I know I'm smart enough. I know I physically can. I know that I can keep myself together long enough to get it done. Like in film school, I used to do the same thing for anything that I've entered before. I luckily have somehow risen to the top, right? So I'm not the tallest guy on the volleyball team. I'm the captain. How does that happen, right? In film school, for some reason, I became one of the best cinematographers. But this is how I did it, exactly like you're talking about, where people would be like, oh, Brent, I heard you're really good with cameras. Do you know how to use the Canon, this? And I was like, yeah, sure. Totally know how to do it. Yeah. And then what I would do, my brother, he worked at Sammy's Camera. And I would go and be like, Brian, can I rent this camera for just an hour? And I was like, please. And he's like, yeah, what do you need? I said, there's a shoot in 2 days that I need to know how to fucking use this camera. So I'd go and I'd read the fucking manual, and I'd open it up, and I'd start shooting with it, and I'd start working the focus. And I was like, what attachments come for this? And then they'd be like, this is that. So then I would go to the shoot, and I'd be like, guys, where's the rack focus for this? Where's the this? Where's the that? And then they're like, oh, we didn't get that. Oh, we get it next time.
Right. So, you're like, you're talking to me here. I'm the master of this camera.
I was expecting
an hour with this camera the other day.
Right.
But
to them, I had done it a million times, right?
But just like, at the end of the day, the reality, and this is what I always think about with like dogs, right? Like when dogs have triggers, when they have reactivity, they're stressed out, they're scared. That other dog is a big deal. Might not feel like a big deal to us. It's a big deal to them. Right. If the end of the world was happening, if zombies happened, the zombies can get me. I'm not running and fighting. I talk about that all the time. I'm not doing that. So, but in reality, I would be running. So let's say end of the world, and you have two people that are telling people to get on a boat. And one guy is like, I don't know. I've never done this before. Maybe get on. And you had someone that was like, let's go. You need to go there. You need to go there. I know which boat I'm heading to, and they could both have never been on a boat before their day in their life, but I know which energy I want to follow. And same goes with our dogs, our kids, whatever it is. It's like they need that, like, let's go, we got it, I know what I'm doing, just follow me, life is safe.
Confidence, right? Well, it's certainty, and it's the whole, like, the sizzle sells the steak. Like when you were talking to the client about, like, it's okay to be a little playful with your words, because at the end of the day, you got it done. So it's not really fair to call it a lie. You did what you were going to do, but I get it. It was a little like flourish to let them know, like, hey, listen, I got this, right? So I think a little showmanship goes a long way.
Yeah, well, it's even when I switched my board and trains from them being with me for 4 whole weeks or 3 whole weeks at a time, I would meet up with the client once a week. But when I switched it to Monday through Friday, the first time I did it, which wasn't that long ago, I wasn't going to tell the clients, I'm trying out something new. I mean, I could, it would have been fine. I'm trying out something new. I'm going to see this. This is the pros, I think. I said, so my board and trains go Monday through Friday. And I feel like this helps you guys be more part of the whatever. I didn't say I really want Sundays off with my family because I'm exhausted and I want to just hang out with them. I didn't say that. I was like, well, this is why it benefits you. And this is why I do it this way. But it was my first time, but they feel more confident being like, okay, this is how it's done, rather than being like, oh, I'm trying this out. We'll see how it goes.
Well, and again, two things can be true at the same time. It's possible you're trying it out, and it's possible you want time with your family, and it's possible that it still benefits them.
Three things are true at the same time.
And I have been finding that they all are, and the one case I was like, that with the resource guard, I was like, you can't go home. It will all this 5 days I've done, like, I haven't gotten far enough with you for you to go home right now. Cause he's been practicing this for so long. I was like, you're staying the weekend with me. And so, like I made changes to, to that weekend, but,